Okay, welcome back to the Bootleg Corner Movie Review Hours, and we are going back. Welcome to Derry, episode 5. And the last time I was here on episode 4 review, I asked the question of whether Lily will be going back to Juniper Hill and if there will ever be an asylum arc where Pennywise will be wreaking havoc in an asylum. But it seems we are going to be delaying. We're not even going to be having that at all, because in this one, we are seeing that Marge, was attacked by Pennywise and almost gouged her eye out, is now in the hospital receiving treatment. And Lily has been allowed to visit her, so we know that Lily is not in Juniper Hill. She has not been taken back to the asylum, and Marge basically told the authorities that she had an accident with her eyes and stuff like that. So Lily is not going back to Juniper Hill, and I'm still asking, and I still said, not really asking, I said earlier that they wasted an arc with Juniper Hill, and if there's nothing going to be done with the asylum, well, as they keep mentioning it, I'm still standing on that there is an arc, there is a storyline to be told in an asylum. Maybe we'll have to see that later, but as it stands now, Lily will not be going back to Juniper Hill, and Juniper Hill will just be kept in the back pocket. Maybe at the end of this episode, some of the people who are saying crazy things will be thrown in there. I'm just guessing right now, but as the way it stands right now, Lily is not going back to Juniper Hill, and Marge will be joining the crew of kids at some point in this episode, and we'll have to see how far their unity or their coalition goes. Now, the next thing is the Shokopiwa people. I was calling them the Shokopiwa people, but it seems there's another retcon of their story and their name in this one. Their name has been changed to the Skotiwapskot tribe. They were the ones who were there in Derry when Pennywise first landed. And also, we are now learning that the forest where Pennywise landed is basically modern day Derry. Like, his prison shards are buried all around Derry, basically the borders of Derry. So he's basically locked in Derry and cannot move beyond Derry. And that leads me to the next conclusion, which means that the United States Army will not be getting those shards out of Derry, because in the 8 movies which come after this Welcome to Derry series, we are seeing that Pennywise is still restricted to Derry. So that means that the United States Army and whatever guys will come after were not successful in getting those shards from the ground. And that's basically Pennywise will just have to remain in Derry and have Derry as his hunting ground for the foreseeable future, up until the 8 movies and the storyline that we knew that would come after. Now, Marty returned this episode, much to the surprise of not just the kids, but to me also, because everyone presumed he had died at the beginning of this series. And we also got the answer to the question of why he was running away in the first episode. Not really the total answer, but we now know what he was running from. He was mentioned in this episode that he was running away from his dad. Now, what we do not know is why he was running away from his dad, or where his dad is. That Marty doesn't want to be there anymore, but we now know who he was running from at the time when he was so desperate to leave Derry. And now he has somehow roped the kids into getting back to the sewers, even though he did it in an underhanded manner. And when he was telling them about the way he escaped, it was not just, it was looking very fishy. when I was watching it, it wasn't adding up. The details of his escape were they were very, very vague. There was nothing really concrete. It was just told them that he found a chance and just ran off. And for a monster like Pennywise, and for the place he supposedly was in the sewers, I mean, the storyline of him just running away and Pennywise not chasing him, or him not even being injured to a particular degree, it didn't add up. It did not really add up. So he led them back to the sewers at some point in the ending of this episode, and we now saw the craziness that Pennywise has been able to get up to. Now, for Major Hallorann, he thought this was basically just a routine army assignment, and now with the things he was seeing Hallorann do to Daniel, and Daniel basically almost having a seizure after Hallorann had invaded his mind, he knew that this was no longer business as usual. He immediately went to Charlotte, and I was saying before that he was telling his wife that his mission was classified and all that, and going to Charlotte after the craziness he had just seen, I mean, he knew he had to just open up and let her know that they had to get away from Derry. At least I think the major said that the army base was outside Derry, so Pennywise can't even extend his reach there. But he's now basically he just confirmed that this craziness cannot be allowed to touch his family, and him going to Charlotte. And even if Charlotte told him about her own experience with Hank Grogan at the prison yard when they were transporting Hank Grogan to the bus that would take them to Shawshank. And the next thing is we are seeing some weird clownish looking guy who's supposed to be a soldier or a police officer in the window of the police office, just having a Pennywise kind of smile and tapping I think that was a baseball bat on his shoulders. And we do not know who that guy is, and it was a very creepy situation. I think that guy will maybe have to see him at some point later again in this series, except maybe Charlotte was just seeing a mirage or something. But I think that guy will have to come back and show us what he really is, or if Pennywise has possessed one of the police officers. I have to see what the result of that sequence will be, because now the bus that was taking Grogan and the other prisoners to Shawshank prison broke down. I think there was an accident on the road. We do not know how or why that happened, if the prisoners revolted, or if there were some supernatural causes that led to that. But Grogan was one of the few survivors and he ran off. And the next thing we are seeing now is that they are revealing who Grogan's white lover was, and we are seeing is this woman that Lily was going to tell her about everything that's been happening to her. She was working in Juniper Hills basically, and we are seeing that we have a reveal of who Grogan's lover is, and seeing the state of her husband when Lily was talking to her in her house, telling her about everything that had been happening with Marty's return. You can be sure that there is absolutely no way that anybody can be allowed to find out that she is basically has been meeting Grogan and has been his lover for a while. Now for Hallorann, we are seeing that he's way wilder and way deeper than we might think. His backstory is something that has been unexplored and basically unexplained so far in this series, and they are making an attempt to tell us how or why or where he came from. And we are seeing when they went to look for Pennywise, when he jumped into the water, and the next thing they knew, he had disappeared. He was pulled into probably a memory or a backstory of his, and we are now seeing that his grandfather and his grandmother were having a tussle over basically him, and his grandfather wants him to open a box. Now we do not know if that was really his grandfather, if that was Pennywise basically infiltrating his mind, trying to get him to reveal some secrets that was supposed to be in the box, and we do not know. And I'm still asking, what is in the box basically? What is in the box that Hallorann was so desperate to keep inside? Was it a secret of his gift? Is it the secret of his power, a secret of his knowledge or something? But we do not know what is in the box basically, and Hallorann was so desperate and so scared of having to open it. So I think that's one thing we'll have to see in the next episode, and we'll also have to continue to see what, like I said, the history of Hallorann is, and why and how he came to be this way, and his grandmother, like basically what's his entire backstory. So Hallorann, we are seeing some revealing to his past, and we are still asking more questions. Where is he from? Why does he have these powers? And now a new question has risen up of what is in the box. Now for Major Hallorann, the storyline is that he has lost his amygdala, no more fear receptors, but it seems that does not stop Pennywise. Found a way, not really found a way. It's Pennywise after all. He invaded his mind, gave him a spectre to look at that looked like his wife Charlotte, and he was basically confused, not knowing what to do at that point, up until Charlotte turned into a zombified monster and tried to kill him. And that was when I knew that there would be something really wrong going, because he did not know that his kids and all the other kids were in the sewers, and he was telling his friend that he should shoot anything that didn't look like it belonged there. And I just knew that at that point when he said that there will be a reckoning to come, because now if Pennywise has used his wife to try to attack him, and now not knowing that the other kids and his own child too are in that sewer too, with him too, I mean, if he ever encounters them, he's going to shoot first and ask questions later. And we now saw the result of that, of him not knowing that his kids were actually really there, pulling the trigger, his friend diving in front, and just the tragedy that just occurred in that particular sequence. And it was so sad, but it was basically very much expected, because at that point, if you've gone from thinking that anything that is here that is not supposed to be here is basically a spectre from Pennywise, and now seeing your kids and all the other kids in your front, and you know that your child is supposedly at home playing or doing whatever it is it's supposed to do at that point in time, I mean, who will not pull the trigger? So like, it was a tragic ending to his friend's life, but I understood and I expected something tragic and something sad to happen, and basically his friend had to die because it's not really that important to the plot going forward. I think the kids club has to just stay alive, and his friend didn't really have any really heavy responsibilities in this movie basically. But it was a sad way to go. Now for Daniel, he led the soldiers into the sewers, tried to run off, and in the process he lost one of the prison shards and he had to just run away without it, couldn't find it. And now we are seeing that when Lily was broken up from her friends, trying to run away, and she now encountered those familiar prison bars that we've seen in the 8 movies, encountered those bars, and there was nowhere to go. And Pennywise, we were almost sure that Pennywise was going to eat her. And then luckily for her, that was where one of those prison shards finally came and fell, and maybe it was swept there by the rushing water, and Pennywise could not advance past that, basically that line. So now Lily has the prison shard, Daniel doesn't have it, and I'm sure if he ever returns, I don't think they've told us if he really escaped that sewer. I don't think, maybe I missed that, but I'm not sure they've shown us if he has gone out of the sewers. But if he ever goes back, and now you have to go and tell Rose that he doesn't have the prison shard anymore, and Pennywise is not dead, and like basically they have no defense for Pennywise any longer. But now Lily has it, and I'm sure when she hooks up back with her friends, she'll tell them that this is what stopped Pennywise from attacking her. So I think that will tie into the final acts of this movie and wherever the story will lead basically. But now they have like at least a defense against Pennywise, and the Indians don't have one. And we saw that in the ending of this one when Major Hallorann was talking to the General at the mission debrief and all that. General was saying there will be some repercussions to the Indians for basically leading them astray. So without tying to the final arc of this movie, because they said that Pennywise at the end of his cycle there will be basically a big bloodbath. So that's the US trying to go on a punitive measure on the Indigenous Americans. Will there be, without tying to the final arc of Pennywise, basically not using the opportunity to turn Derry into a free-for-all merry-go-round bloodbath kind of scenario? I think that's where everything is leading. If, according to what the General is saying, and us knowing what Pennywise will do at the ending of the cycle, I think this will all tie in together at some point. People are taking my lights, but I think that should be all. That should be all that was covered so far in Welcome to Derry episode 5. There are still many questions we have to ask, they have to answer. And Hallorann, a lot of deeper, there's a lot of wider things are happening with him. What is in the box? And we are seeing that now. This guy, I think I've forgotten his name, but basically he returned as a ghost or a zombie. Now the question is that guy being controlled by Pennywise, or is he a manifestation of whatever was in Hallorann's box? Because after they showed him and Hallorann looking at him with a very scared face, we are now seeing Hallorann's box is now open. So is that a result of Hallorann's box being blown open, his grandfather finding some way to open it, and his grandfather is the one manipulating this guy's body? Or is that basically the specter of Pennywise? So questions and answers, some questions are coming, some answers are being dealt, and as the series is going further, we are still having more questions even while we are getting some answers. So this is still the bootleg or the bootleg corner. Hit me with your thoughts, your comments, and all that stuff in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, for all that stuff. Keep it locked in, and I'll be back.